Howdy do, y'all. This is John, and welcome back to my 5th Annual Horror-Athon. Today, we are talking about Event Horizon. And in Event Horizon, it deals with this crew of astronauts who go to rescue this ship called the Event Horizon, which is in a decaying orbit around Neptune. And chaos ensues because this ship is infested with these demon-like things. That's why I'm gonna call them. Okay, so to get things started, first and foremost, what I like about this movie, I honestly think this film's pretty underappreciated. Yes, I know it has a cult following. Yes, I know its reception is getting a little bit better recently. However, it still has a really low Rotten Tomatoes score. So I'm going to talk about why I think this is actually a good movie. And first of all, its story. While I acknowledge it's not like 100% the most original story, it's what they do with it that is original. The film has a very alien-like story to it. However, unlike the other so-called alien ripoffs, where they literally were, this one, Event Horizon, it's not an extraterrestrial they're dealing with. It's basically demons, essentially, that they're dealing with. A haunted spaceship. There's not too many movies that can say they're about a haunted spaceship. And when it comes to the whole, them dealing with demons sort of thing, you can compare this to Doom, essentially. I've honestly seen people compare it to Doom, and, I can see where they're coming from. On top of that, there's actually some half-decent character development in the film. Lawrence Fishburne, his character, he is more about, the safety of his crew than anything else. And when all heck breaks loose, he is 100% concerned about his crew. He's essentially a good captain. He wants his crew to be safe. He wants his crew to live. It pretty much makes Captain Miller, his character, pretty good protagonist. You also have Dr. Weir, who is a scientist that helped engineer the Event Horizon, and, his descent into madness in this film, that is one of the most gut-punching things about the movie. Because you're introduced to him, you get that he's a traumatized person, his wife took her own life, and he's dealing with that. But he's also a good person. He's very helpful to this crew, and, his continuous descent into madness because of his own, his one character flaw, while he's good, his refusal to accept that something supernatural is going on. That is a pretty gut-punching thing. And also, let's talk about the acting. All the actors are good. Fishburne's good. Sam Neill's good. Even some of the, characters that are a little less well-developed are played by good actors. I wouldn't say there's an Oscar-worthy performance in the film. Probably the best is being done by Sam Neill, but the actors do a good job, and I commend them for that. And also in terms of execution, there is good, tension and suspense. I wouldn't call it scary. I know it's supposed to be a horror film, but I wouldn't exactly call it very scary. But there is good, effective tension and suspense that is way beyond what you're used to seeing with a Paul W.S. Anderson movie. Yes, the guy that made the Resident Evil movies directed this. I know, mind-blowing. This is his only genuinely good movie. And, it's kind of a shame because he is able to effectively create tension and suspense. He shows that with this movie. However, the best he can muster out, other than this, is a guilty pleasure. Now, in terms of problems, this movie's not perfect at all. The special effects, while the practical ones, like the miniatures, the models, and also the makeup effects, those are really, really good. Even 30 years later, well, almost 30 years, nearly 3 decades later, those still look really good. But the CGI it's typical dated 90s CGI. I wouldn't say it's the worst CGI in the world. Mortal Kombat Annihilation had way worse CGI than this movie. However, it is typical 90s dated CGI effects. Also, this film is kind of a victim of, studio interference. And you can really kind of see that a little bit in the last 30 minutes of the film. According to Paul Anderson and company, this film was supposed to be nearly 2 hours long. And I have a feeling the majority of the footage that got cut in order for it to be a 90-minute movie was in the last 30 minutes of the official film. The last 30 minutes just feel rushed. It's almost as if, a lot of footage got cut in just this one section of the film. Now, the hour leading up to that, everything is smooth and fine. The only real issue is the dated CGI. That is it. The last 30 minutes, you can tell with how rushed everything is, there was a lot more going on. But guys, at the end of the day, Event Horizon, I think this movie is very underappreciated. I don't think it's the best sci-fi horror film of all time. That is Alien, period, end of discussion. But in terms of 90s horror films, this movie deserves a second chance. It deserves a second look at it. And I think that, as time progresses, this film will go from just being a cult film to maybe a cult classic of some kind. Things are already looking up to it. The last few years, I have noticed more and more people shouting their love to this film. Its IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes scores have all increased since the first time I saw them. And I'm glad to, that is happening. When it comes to sci-fi horror films this month, I would say this is worth a look. I'm going to give Event Horizon an 8. Well, that's all the time I have for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this year's Horror-Athon. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Please also subscribe if you're new to the channel, and as always, please remember, the Badetsky Order.